Did you know that not having an active sex life can cause a ton of wellness and vitality issues for millions of men over the age of 50? Just like you, a lot of guys worry about erectile function, low libido, body image anxiety, and even cognitive decline. What they don't realize is that the key to great health lies in constantly activating certain biological mechanisms. A healthy and balanced hormonal flow is absolutely vital for your entire system to work properly. When that system fails, it leads to problems like cavernous tissue atrophy. This means areas that don't expand as they should and become less malleable. It also weakens the neuronal and vascular response in your brain, pelvis, and genitals. This condition is known as sexual aging. Besides those issues, a lack of sexual activity can also slow down your mental recovery, decrease the resilience of your pelvic muscles, and worsen problems like erectile dysfunction. This creates feelings of frustration and emotional insecurity. The most worrying part is that fluid retention or muscle inactivity leads to a buildup of toxins and a chemical imbalance, especially in the genital region. This can cause the formation of fibrosis or plaque in the corpora cavernosa, as well as in the pelvic veins and arteries. It further interferes with erectile function and can be very serious in some cases. But you might be surprised to learn that you can naturally improve your vitality and sexual health with simple habits you probably already have in your daily routine. Today, I want to share 4 essential scientific truths about male sexual health after 50. These help your body stay in harmony, reducing the risk of atrophy and dysfunction. Pay close attention, especially to the last 2, because they are extremely powerful. Now, listen up, because these sexual challenges can creep up slowly without you noticing at first. While anyone can experience them, they are more common in older men with a history of stress, anxiety, diabetes, or a sedentary lifestyle. That's why managing those underlying conditions is essential for maintaining good blood flow to the genital area. This is a critical part of the overall treatment. There are 5 warning signs that sexual inactivity is already a problem. If you notice any of these, in addition to adopting the habits I will share, seek medical or psychological help as soon as possible. In these cases, a full hormonal evaluation and clinical analysis can help you address the problem early and prevent complications. The first warning sign is a persistent feeling of atrophy or insensitivity. It feels like an uncomfortable numbness in the genital and pelvic area that happens frequently, especially when you are inactive, sedentary, or under a lot of pressure. If you notice this happening often, it's a red flag. It may mean your tissues and nerves aren't getting the hormonal and vascular stimulation they need. The second warning sign is always feeling low on energy or having a depressed mood, even on quiet days. This can also indicate a neurochemical and hormonal imbalance. The third sign is erectile failures during sex or even during masturbation. They are so severe that they sometimes force you to stop the act or withdraw out of embarrassment. This happens because your blood vessels might not be receiving the ideal amount of nitric oxide and oxygen for the necessary expansion during excitement. This is known as vascular erectile dysfunction and is a clear indicator that blood supply to the pelvic region is failing for some reason. Often, these issues become more intense at night, causing you to wake up stressed or forcing you to get up to try and relax. Some people experience nocturnal performance anxiety instead of erectile failure. It's a feeling where finding peace is impossible. This significantly affects your quality of life. If you have felt this discomfort, it means the imbalance is already affecting your nerves or aggravating any depression you might have. This should not be ignored. I want to tell you that all of this has a solution. In many cases, the problem can be reversed, especially by incorporating the natural habits that I'm about to share. Warning sign number 4 is a change in your stress level. You might feel more irritable, withdrawn, or have an unstable mood. You might also experience heightened anxiety, especially in social or intimate situations. This reflects hormonal deregulation, which not only affects your outward appearance, but can also slow down your recovery from mental overload and make your body inflame easily. The 5th sign is low libido and a lack of intimate interest. This appears as an aversion or disinterest in sexual activities. Generally, this occurs when dopamine and testosterone levels are low or damaged, or their receptors are not working well. This causes excitement to occur at an unnatural intensity or to stall, leading to all the symptoms mentioned. All these signs warn that your sexual health needs attention right away to rule out an advanced problem and start treatment. Let's look at the 4 scientific revelations to improve your vitality and strengthen both the corpora cavernosa and the hormonal system. The first is the release of endorphins, also known as the pleasure mechanism. This is key because of its positive effects on metabolic health. This release works to maintain the plasticity and malleability of cavernous tissues, helping to prevent the formation of fibrosis, reducing the risk of fluid stagnation and improving blood flow. This is especially important for people suffering from erectile dysfunction or vascular insufficiency. Besides improving flow, pleasure plays a crucial role in mental health because it helps regulate cortisol levels. What it does is reduce the presence of stress hormones, also known as brain oxidants, and increase dopamine levels, known as the wellness substance. This is essential for preventing stress plaques from forming and blocking neural receptors, keeping them clean and active for a good flow of thoughts and vitality. When these stress levels build up, they harden and narrow the pleasure vessels, making sexual response difficult and increasing the risk of serious health problems like heart attacks, stroke, and emotional disorders. Maintaining adequate levels of pleasure prevents all this damage and protects your heart health at the same time. But the benefits of self-stimulation go much further in the brain. It protects neurons from age-related damage, improving memory and concentration, and allowing for healthier aging. Now, how can you effectively get this stimulation? Controlled and conscious self-pleasure is an accessible and easy way to incorporate into your routine. A balanced frequency, for example, is highlighted as low risk and rich in neurotransmitter release. Just make sure it is guilt-free and pressure-free. As for the time dedicated, shorter but regular sessions are excellent options, not only for their hormonal contribution, but also for the presence of other very healthy mechanisms like muscle relaxation and mindfulness. Finally, periods of reflection after climax are a very practical option, ideally to absorb the sensations and well-being that occur between activities. The ideal frequency of daily or weekly pleasure varies from person to person, but for an average adult, science suggests that maintaining a steady rhythm is more important than obsessing over a specific frequency. This consistency can be easily achieved through a balanced routine. Always remember, though, this is a topic of personal well-being, and while this information is for your awareness, it does not replace the evaluation of a qualified health professional. For example, a high-pleasure event can cover more than half the well-being you need per day. Are external solutions really necessary? In most cases, pleasure supplementation is not needed as long as you already include these habits in your routine. However, in specific conditions like chronic stress, alcoholism, or certain neurological diseases involving poor dopamine regulation, regular stimulation can be helpful. Keep one important detail in mind. Excessive forced stimulation can cause a phenomenon known as mental burnout, which appears as a feeling of saturation, fatigue, and generalized irritation. While generally not dangerous, it can be quite annoying, but this mechanism is only the beginning. Now I want to talk about another very important point for the health of your vascular tissues. Tissue expansion, also known as the erectile response. It's very important that you know its medicinal secrets. This powerful vascular exercise has a direct effect on your blood vessels, strengthening their walls and helping them stay flexible and resistant. This keeps the pathways where your blood flows strong and in good condition, resisting the damage that can occur with age. In addition to these positive effects, the erectile response has a vital function in the production of nitric oxide, a molecule that acts as a natural support for the walls of arteries and veins. This increase is essential because it reinforces the structure of these vessels. When nitric oxide is at a healthy level, the risk of suffering from fibrosis and other circulatory problems caused by the deterioration of the vascular wall is reduced. These effects are even more important in the pelvic region, where blood vessels are under greater pressure due to gravity and the distance from the heart. That's why a good level of arousal improves circulation in both the pelvis and the genital organ, also reducing inflammation in these areas. This is especially beneficial for those who suffer from erectile dysfunction or that feeling of lack of vitality at the end of the day. And what are the best ways to get this powerful activation? Regular exercise and sensory stimuli, as well as maintaining body weight, are some of the main ones. The ideal is to stay active and mentally engaged as much as possible, as this activation quickly degrades with a sedentary lifestyle and apathy, meaning it loses effectiveness. If you ignore physical activity for too long, a lot of people don't realize that a weekly routine of aerobic exercise can be more beneficial for erectile function than many medications. And that's not all. Tissue expansion is aided by healthy habits like blood pressure control, diets rich in vegetables, and good nights of sleep. Now pay close attention. While stimulation may seem simple, it is very important not to overdo it in intensity or frequency that causes exhaustion or pain, as this can lead to physical injuries and increase the risk of performance anxiety. Therefore, it is always better to prioritize natural sources of internal stimulation that provide it safely and effectively. Therapy and counseling should only be considered in specific situations and with professional recommendation. Now that we know the fundamental role of endorphin release and tissue expansion and vitality, it's time to talk about another key nutrient, hormonal regulation. This regulation is essential to protect the entire body system and prevent muscle degradation, allowing testosterone to flow optimally to the tissues, thus improving both libido and bone mass health. Its main function is to modulate neurochemical balance in a very controlled way, preventing both exhaustion and lack of interest. In addition, hormonal regulation plays a crucial role in preventing cortisol from building up on the walls of the arteries, preventing them from hardening and causing cardiovascular problems. This condition reduces well-being and increases the risk of serious health problems like heart attacks and strokes. To achieve this naturally, reducing refined carbohydrates, intermittent fasting, and sleep control are excellent options. These habits not only provide hormonal balance, but also antioxidant and anti-inflammatory substances that protect all your cells, along with good intestinal health, which is highly beneficial for nutrient absorption. Furthermore, curcumin and turmeric contain properties that support hormones and are very easy to incorporate into your diet. I recommend preparing and drinking a green juice rich in antioxidants, potassium, magnesium, and zinc every day. Make it with celery, kale leaves, a red apple for sweetness, a piece of ginger, and to add freshness, some mint leaves. If you want to sweeten it a bit more, a teaspoon of cinnamon is an excellent option. I recommend drinking a glass daily in the morning without straining it. But pay attention here. If you are taking thyroid or mood medication, it is important to know that you do not need to cut back on foods that support hormonal health. The problem is not consuming them, but making sudden changes in your lifestyle. Understand this. What your doctor does during the consultation is adjust the medication dose to keep its effect stable in your body. This depends on your hormone levels also remaining stable. So if one day you eat a lot of sugar and the next day you turn to a strict diet regimen, it can alter the effect of the medication, making it less effective or too strong. Therefore, the ideal is always to maintain a constant routine of habits in this area and consume them regularly and in a balanced way. And if you decide for any reason to increase or decrease your consumption, talk to your doctor beforehand to adjust the medication dose and avoid problems. Now we come to one of the most powerful revelations for sexual health, cognitive improvement. This function is well known for its focus and concentration properties that help protect our cells from daily wear and tear. To understand better, imagine your thoughts are like roads for cars. Over time, these roads can oxidize and weaken, especially if they are constantly exposed to harmful substances. Stress and anxiety are precisely those harmful substances, tiny particles that circulate through the brain and, if not controlled, can oxidize and weaken the walls of the cerebral blood vessels. Focus and concentration act as a protective shield, preventing these mental problems from causing damage. Thus, your arteries and veins remain strong and flexible, allowing for better blood flow and reducing the risk of diseases in the heart, brain, and your organs. Furthermore, this improvement is essential to prevent the accumulation of toxic thoughts, which significantly reduces the risk of blockages in the flow of arousal. But its benefits don't end there. Cognitive improvement stimulates the production of dopamine, a molecule that produces focus and motivation in our system. This process, which I call mental reframing, facilitates pleasure and reduces anxiety. This allows the heart to work more efficiently. To get its benefits, habits like learning a new language, reading, strategy games, and meditation exercises are rich in brain stimulation. In addition, focusing on creative tasks is a natural source, especially when you dedicate yourself to something that challenges your mind. And many people don't know it, but regular physical exercise, besides supporting muscles, has a direct impact on mental focus. Regarding external solutions, my opinion is that they are not necessary unless your therapist or doctor indicates them for some specific reason, such as ADHD or proven dopamine deficiency. In fact, focusing on very intense or uncontrolled tasks increases the risk of complications like insomnia and exhaustion. On the other hand, a simple 15-minute meditation session already covers close to 50% of the recommended daily dose of tranquility. And if you supplement your mental health with a diet rich in vegetables and healthy oils, the levels of focus you will get are more than enough to protect the health of your vital system without the need for additional stimuli. Yes,